Mats Onsum.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. So
Been a minute. Or I met you in the streets the other day, but before that, it was quite a while.
Yeah, I guess it's been like several years
Yeah.
because we know each other from Raw Yoga,
Yes,
where you were an instructor.
that's right.
And that closed down, unfortunately, in the beginning of 2022.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was like February or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, due to lockdowns. You know, hot yoga and lockdowns, they're not very compatible.
No, they don't go
Yeah.
real well together.
No, you can't really have the online hot yoga unless people have a sauna at home or something.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. And the electricity prices.
Yes,
So they got doubly screwed.
they got fucked.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Dude, that's a
Pretty bad.
shame. That was such a good place, man.
It was, and I still miss it though.
Yeah, I miss it too.
Yeah. And I keep meeting people. Like every now and then I meet people who are like, oh man, I miss that place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, me too. And yeah, here we are again.
Here we are again. It was
Missing
like
place.
this oasis because I actually got double screwed because I lost my yoga studio and my gym where I trained strength and jiu-jitsu all in the same month.
That's actually triple fucked.
Triple fucked.
Yeah.
You're right. It is triple fucked. Yeah. So that was a big blow for my, like my routines and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I lost both of those places.
And that's when you got this place and like the mats in the corner and everything to roll around and do the kettlebells and
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had them before actually.
Okay.
So I had them before, but hey, life goes on, man. Yeah. But wait, what are you up to?
I'm doing much of the same stuff really. I'm teaching yoga still, practicing yoga, and I also make music. I've been making music longer than I've been teaching yoga, but
Yeah.
so I'm still getting my solo projects going, like up and running a little bit. Used to have a little bit of hype back in the day
Yeah.
with some rap groups, and then we split up, and I was like trying to get that whatever my message is across to the
What's your message, bro?
dude, life and love, you know.
Yeah.
Love the life and live the love and that stuff.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, just it was about being able to, I guess, take it from like the really like material right here and now, like I can feel it, touch it, see it, smell it, taste it, that kind of experience, to the more like, what do you want to call it, spiritual or
Ethereal.
Yeah, ethereal. That was actually the word that was in my mind. I was like, ethereal. Can you really say ethereal?
You can say
It's
here,
like,
bro.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, ethereal. then.
Yeah.
From the material to the ethereal. That's
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. It's such an interesting, that's what I like about you. It's such an interesting combination, yoga and hip hop.
Right?
Yeah. And you wouldn't naturally pair those two together,
No.
but I think they're kind of complementary.
I feel like that too. I think so too. But for whatever reason, it's been like the world doesn't think so, or at least it's starting to kind of get with the program the last few years. But when I kind of switched it up around like, I don't know, 12 years ago, started like doing rap and yoga. Then I got a lot of like resistance from both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the yoga people were like, rappers, like they're just about flexing and like material
that's what yoga-
possessions and
that's
money
what-
and
that-
ego and
But that's what yoga people are doing. They're into flexing too, but
Yeah.
it's just a different type of flexing. You're
Yeah.
literally into stretching and flexing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one aspect of it. Another aspect is that like the ego finds an outlet regardless of what environment you're in. It kind of finds an outlet. And in rap, it's very like apparent. It's very like it's there. You just like you're telling everyone that's listening how fucking cool you are and how much stuff you got and all the parties you go to and all the women you have and whatever you want to. That's like the stereotypical, you know?
Yeah.
But then you have like the yoga environment where it can be very like, oh, look at me, I'm so spiritual and I know more than you and I'm on my high spiritual horse looking down at all you not so spiritual peasants, and like they can kind of get there as well, you know? It's like,
Yeah, they have spiritual bling.
yes,
That's what they have.
Yeah.
It's true. You notice it so fucking many times.
Right?
Yeah, it's exactly, that's right. That's what they do. They flex their spirituality.
yeah.
It's kind of annoying. I prefer the rappers. At least they're flexing gold chains and like cool cars.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like both of them, and
Yeah, of course.
I have likes and dislikes in both directions. But yeah, it was interesting at least to see like how both environments kind of semi-rejected like half of what I was doing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like somebody who's kind of growing up with parents of two different nationalities.
I guess.
And they're like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe this is not a good example, but
no, but I get what you mean.
yeah, you get what I mean. Yeah. But I think it's like, yeah, I think the two have a lot in common because with like rapping, there's like a sense of flow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's this like real, and especially with good rap, when you have like a good flow, you're like, yeah, this motherfucker's like, you know, he's tuning into something and it sounds, it's just in line with like, it just works, you know? And then with yoga as well, I feel like, yeah, you know, you get into like a good flow with certain movements and the way that you're feeling. And so in that respect, I feel like they're kind of complementary.
I feel the same way, and just what you just said, I feel the same way. And it's also this like how when you get into that flow state and you kind of disconnect the thinking, problem solving mind, and you're not kind of trying to think your way to the bars that you're rapping, or of course it matters, or it depends if you're performing it or if you're writing it or whatever you're doing. But I find that the more I'm able to connect to something, I don't know, behind or beyond the thoughts, the easier it is for whatever is coming through to flow. It's like you're opening a channel kind of when you're writing the lyrics and when you're performing it. And when it comes to yoga, you're also kind of tuning into your breath and your body and movements and whatever it might be, flows of energy in your body to get into that flow state. And it's kind of a similar experience when you get there.
Yeah.
So
the flow state is so underrated, I think. You know, when you catch yourself in the flow state, you go, oh, fuck. And then you kind of sometimes fall out of the flow state.
Because you caught yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's a weird phenomenon. You know, sometimes like I'll be on stage and like I'll just be like riffing, or like somebody in the audience said something and I'll just go off on like a comedy tangent. And then I'm just like, at the end of it, I'll be like, wow, that was total flow state. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like, I'm sure they've done studies about how to tune into it and shit like that. But sometimes it just feels like you're doing everything right.
Right.
And you go, yeah, now that's the flow state.
That you are in alignment with what you're meant to be doing and at that moment or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And something like that. And then I kind of feel like conversely, when you're in the exact opposite of a flow state, when things are going wrong in your life or when things that you're pursuing aren't really working out, that, I don't know, like maybe you're just not good at them, but maybe it's kind of like, it's not really what you should be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot, actually.
Why?
Because it's been like when I went from the rapping thing, we actually had quite a lot of hype back in the day with the rap groups I was in. We played concerts around Norway, hundreds of concerts, and in Scandinavia we were collaborating with British rappers, Danish rappers, Swedish rappers, and we're kind of on the way to make it big. And then the rap group got split up and like things kind of fell apart a little bit. And then I started like trying to establish my own thing. But it was with that yoga philosophy and like the psychedelic kind of approach and all that, like as like the foundation, I would say, of the content of what I was trying to convey.
Yeah.
And then kind of people fell off as well. It's like people didn't connect to it that much. I think the environment was quite small in Norway, and it's in Norwegian, so it's not like a global thing. It's like. So it got harder for people to follow what I was talking about, and I wanted to talk about what was real to me, you know? And then after that, like it kind of fell apart a little bit, and I didn't really get that traction that I wanted. And after that's been like trying to figure out how do I do this and be able to convey the messages that I want to convey and still be able to,
still reach a lot of people.
Yeah, still reach a lot of people and have reach and impact, you know?
Yeah, and how are you, like, what's the status?
The status right now is that I've been working on an EP, it's like a short album, for about 3 years. I've been making a lot of other music as well, but I've like picked the songs that I like the best, and it's like we're almost done. It's like 2 tracks that are almost done. We just need to mix them a little bit more, and then we're good. And then starting to put it out now this summer. That's the plan. So I've been working on that for about 3 years. I haven't released any music. And also I've been working on projects that are not in Norwegian as well. To just expand and explore, you know. So I think
that's smart, man.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to do stuff that's in Norwegian, but also the community is so big outside of Norway, and what your music might resonate with, you know, English speakers in, like, you know, like fucking Jamaica or South Korea or something. Yeah, that's the thing with like global internet culture, is that it's not always localized. The people that like dig your shit.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So that's what I've been thinking, like with the podcast as well. It's like I live in Norway and I can speak Norwegian, but I just feel like doing a podcast in English is like so much more. But it's a double-edged sword, though.
Yeah.
You get that.
I think I know what you mean, but
Yeah,
tell me.
because it's like, well, English is my native language. I've got like friends and family and stuff that listen in Australia, and a few friends in America and other countries and shit like that. But then you kind of like you miss out on some of the like like say charts in Norway because of the language. They all that kind of shit, And sometimes when you're like in English and trying to like have like a message that appeals to 3 billion people instead of 5 million, you kind of miss this localized, okay, you're talking about things that we all can relate to. Like everybody knows where Sankthanshaugen Park is, or everybody can say, oh yeah, that's Ring 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also here you interact with people all the time. You meet people and you have a network here and all that. But yeah, I get what you mean. It's the same with the rap thing. It's like when I have a bunch of friends who rap in English, and some of them are really good.
Yeah.
And they're getting not necessarily like a huge hype globally, but they have for example a hype in China or hype somewhere else,
Yeah.
or in the States. But in Norway, people don't seem to give a fuck,
Yeah.
Because like when you switch the language, that's why so many rappers that rap in English in Norway eventually start rapping in Norwegian.
Yeah.
Because people don't give a fuck about the English rap.
Yeah.
So so when I'm doing that English rap package, I'm not aiming for the Norwegian community or culture, really. I'm aiming outside.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to market it too much back home. I'm trying to get it across the pond.
Yeah, I get you.
And then I can do the Norwegian stuff here.
Yeah.
Rather. Yeah.
Do you like when you compare Norwegian to English?
Yeah.
English has so many more words.
Yeah.
It's such a like richer language, like for vocabulary. Do you prefer one language over the other because of the possibilities of rhyming in English, or?
After getting more accustomed to rapping in English, I have to say that I kind of prefer that.
Yeah.
But Norwegian is also, it is an interesting language to rap in or write in. Because you have a lot of options and you can be creative with how you combine things and like the pictures that you paint.
Yeah.
It can also very easily get super generic because there's not too many words to pick and choose from.
Yeah.
But then it's you need to be more creative with how you put it together in order to avoid that super cliche way to say it or whatever it is,
Yeah, exactly.
So I find that
it's more of a challenge.
Yeah, it's more of a challenge, but also it's more natural to me from back in the day because I when I was like 16, I came to this place where I was like, do I rap in English or do I rap in Norwegian?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
And then I ended up picking Norwegian because that was like people around me did that, the people that I was rapping with, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And then I've been wondering if that was the right choice or not, but you can do that with anything you choose.
Nico and Vince did it in English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
they made it.
They made it.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And MadCon for a while too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually play paddle with those guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I seen Chava posting pictures of him playing paddle.
Yeah.
Is that with you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh shit! Is he any good?
If he is good?
Yeah.
He's one of the better players in the group of people who play together.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm starting to catch up.
That's good.
I sucked in the beginning, but now
it's fun. How fun is paddle?
Paddle is super fun.
Yeah, it's the best.
It is, and it's like you get that workout, that you get that heart rate going, and but you're not even noticing it because you're having so much fun.
You never want to stop,
right?
Dude, I've been with friends and we're like, oh, let's just book an hour, and an hour's never enough.
No,
it's never enough.
It's
like
nothing.
2 hours at least. Yeah.
I played an hour last Friday, I think. Yeah, it's like 'cause I had to go to work after, and they stayed, and I was like, when I left, I was like, God. Fuck.
Don't want to leave.
I don't want to leave. I just want to stay here.
Yeah. Are you playing just doubles, like 4 people turning up, or are you rotating teams?
We rotating teams usually.
Yeah, okay.
It all depends on how many people show up.
And how many do you play like a set, or how many games do you play? Do you like best at 2 out of 3 and then change teams, or?
Yeah, sometimes we play. It all depends on how many people we are and how many teams, so that we can rotate that quite quickly.
Gotcha.
So that people don't have to wait for like half an hour,
Yeah.
So usually we do like two sets, and the first team to reach 2 those are the winners.
2 sets
Wait,
or
what?
2 games?
2 games.
Yeah.
Games,
Because
sorry.
sets will take ages. A
Wait,
set
now
is
I'm
like
confused.
6
What if-
games.
Oh, so that is like a set number of
Yeah.
games is a set.
Yeah. So at least in tennis, if you play 6 games
Yeah.
and you win, the first to get 6 games wins the set.
Oh, okay, I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still a newbie.
Yeah. With the paddle English.
With the paddle English, yeah.
I
don't
got
really
you,
know
bro.
the
I got
vocab.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you play the first team to win 2 games stays, and the other team
Yes.
gets rotated off.
That's usually how we do it.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's
Yeah.
fast.
It's fast and it's fun, and then we change the teams eventually. It's like, okay, we're starting to see like how this one team is way better than the other teams, for example. Then we like, let's switch it up and kind of make it interesting again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, it's so fast. Such a fast game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you play as well?
Yeah, I play as well. I don't play as much as I'd like to. I play every now and again, but it's something that I definitely really enjoy, man. And I grew up playing tennis in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, and squash. So I have like a pretty decent comprehension when it comes to racket sports. And I just love it, man. I love it.
So the squash game is like you play with a wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You both facing the wall?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you both face the wall and you serve it, and then you got to try to make, just kind of make the other player not return the ball, and then you win a point.
Okay.
It's a very fast game. It's very fun.
Here a lot of like older people who've been playing tennis back in the day or squash back in the day start playing squash again, and they get heart attacks and shit because
Yeah, that's what happens.
So intense.
It's so fast.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, they gotta fucking relax. Yeah. You know the thing with squash as well is that you should wear these special squash glasses, because if you get the squash ball in your eye, you can get blind.
Okay.
Because it moves so fast. I saw this guy get a ball in his eye once when I was a kid, and that dude was fucked. Like the eye was like swollen. Dude, they called the ambulance and all kinds of shit. So there's these goofy kind of squash glasses, and I always wear them. I don't want to play squash if I'm not wearing them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tip. If I ever try it.
Yeah, get the
Yeah,
glasses.
I get the glasses,
They
yeah.
look dorky, but whatever.
I'd rather be
so
dorky than blind.
So does an eye patch.
I mean, it all depends how you combine it. If you
Yeah.
have like a gold tooth and a ring in your ear
And a
then-
parrot.
And a parrot. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
dude.
Then you're good.
You're good.
Yeah, then you have a style going.
Yeah, you got a style going.
Yeah.
Shit. But that's cool, man. You're playing. Next time you see Chava, say hello from me.
I will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
So how do you know him?
How do I know him? I knew him before this, but I really got to know him. We went to Croatia together.
Okay.
Yeah, he was doing Madcon was doing a music video with Snoop Dogg. And my friend Frederick Esnolt.
Yeah, I know that guy too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but yeah, go on.
Yeah. He's a good buddy of mine. He was directing the video. And then I went down to make the behind the scenes video. So then I hung out with them for like 2 or 3 days in Croatia whilst they were experiencing this like magical music video experience with Snoop Dogg and performing at this hip hop concert in Croatia, Island Vibes or something. And so we did the music video, and then that night Snoop was performing, and then he asked them if they wanted to do their song together on stage. And then I was there and filmed that too. So yeah, that's it. And then I kind of hung out with them a bunch after that, and we've just been friends over the years. I haven't seen them for a while though. I kind of lost contact during the pandemic and never really picked it up that much
Maybe you
afterwards.
join us for paddle one day.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Dude, invite me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him. I don't think I'm the one in charge of inviting people.
No.
I get invited.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
it for sure.
It would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be fun. Shit. And so how did you get into, I mean, you started doing hip hop like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And what was the group that you were in that was kind of cool?
The group I was in was called Bunkmen.
Oh shit. Bunkman Chenapenga.
You remember that shit?
Of course.
Wow.
Lars Rubix.
Yeah, that's one of my best friends.
Really?
Yeah, we still make music together. He usually produces and mixes my tracks now.
No way. Holy shit.
Wow, I didn't know he went that way back.
Of course. Yeah. Dude, I seen all those videos.
Yeah,
they were
man.
on King Size
Yeah.
and 730 and stuff like that.
Exactly, and Frederick, he directed a couple of them at least.
Of course he
Yeah.
did. Of course he did. That was like when Frederick was just a music video monster.
Yes.
Yeah, he did so many music videos. That's when I became friends with him.
Yeah.
When I guess we met in like 2008, 2009 or something.
Okay.
So that's probably like, when shit was really popping off music video wise.
Yeah, absolutely. And he seemed to be getting a lot of traction as well with his music videos, and
Yeah.
so we were lucky to have the opportunity to work with him.
Yeah.
at that stage of his career. And
Yeah. So what happened with Bankman?
so the thing was that we had some, of course, like people grow. We were in a group together for I don't know how many years, but like 7 years or something like that. And from the age of like 18, 19, I was something like 18, 19 when we got into the group.
Yeah.
And then we started like growing and developing as human beings, and we developed different interests and different like directions we wanted to go. And also there was like a little bit of drama inside some of the structures inside the whole like group of people.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys he kind of I wouldn't say got married, but he it was almost. It was like he got into a really serious relationship, and they had a kid, and like he got on a different job that demanded a lot of him, and like he kind of chose a different life, and then that removed him a little bit from the group, and then we tried to kind of keep it together, just me and Lush.
Yeah.
And that kind of eventually started falling apart as well, because we were very different. And then when I started doing the yoga thing, it's like I was like, I don't want to make this music anymore, talking about this bullshit, and like I needed something else.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the other guys weren't really up for the whole yoga philosophy thing.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to go that direction. They wanted to go in a very different direction. Lars, he went like Lush. He went this very dark trap vibes.
Yeah.
For a while, and our manager, he had his other things going, and then it's just kind of the whole house of cards fell apart eventually.
Yeah.
And then we split up and didn't really talk much for a little bit, but then we started like reconnecting again, and then we started looking through all these like different projects that we never released. We have like, I don't know, 3 albums recorded that we never released, plus a bunch of different other tracks.
Yeah.
We went and we made an album with a bunch of Danish rappers.
Yeah.
And an album with a group called Huga Troopers.
Okay.
And when we listen back to it, it's like a lot of it is pretty good. Like at that time, it was really good.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit outdated, but so it's a shame we didn't release it. But now we're here, and lots of good stuff happened after. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people and artists fall into this trap of not releasing things that maybe they fall into the perfectionist trap.
Absolutely.
And like looking back, sometimes it's just about releasing things you don't even know what's going to catch. But I don't know. It's a balancing act, because maybe you're not happy with it, you're not proud of it, and then you go, we shouldn't release it if we're not proud of it. But sometimes you just got to go like, fuck it. It might appeal to a bunch of people, even though we're not feeling it. I don't know, like you said, when you're looking back, like maybe you should have done it. It's like yeah.
I think a lot of it should have been released.
Right.
And we might have been in very different places in our music careers if we actually released that at that time.
Yeah.
And I'm still I'm working on that still, like this perfectionist mindset thing that I can get into, because like I have a vision, I have this idea of what it's supposed to sound like. But usually when I stick with it, and I kind of nag the people I'm working with a little bit, like, dude, we got to go another round with the mix because it doesn't sound right, And then we do, and then it sounds right.
Yeah.
So usually after like 1 or 2 or 3 more rounds, it does sound right, and it feels different. Like I can feel it in my body if it's right or not.
Yeah.
So if the body rejects it, there's something not right with some of the frequencies or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's felt more. But sometimes I can get into the overthinking thing. It's not just a felt thing. It's my thoughts are running loose. Yeah.
Dude, a lot of comedians are like that.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So how are you like that? Or are you like that?
I'm kind of like, I have, okay, here's a good example. So I am like that when it comes to releasing jokes that I film when I'm performing on stage. Like I've got like tons of jokes that I should probably just post on the internet, but I never feel like, I don't know, I don't like it, or I'm not proud of it, or anything like that. But they're good, and like they do really well when I'm there. And I just, for whatever reason, I just think, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to release it. And so I fall into that trap as well. But then like when I do release things, like fucking, like it goes really well. So I'm in the same situation. But, I release a lot of shit from the podcast these days, at least anyway. So I'm kind of like focusing on that. But I should definitely fucking take my own, advice on things, and just
most of us should. Most of us have really good advice. We're just shit at following it.
Isn't that weird?
It is really weird.
It's so weird. Dude, I got a fucking friend, and he is like very overweight and very out of shape, but he has the best nutritional advice. And every time I talk to him about something, dude, he comes with like solid scientific based evidence, references, reports in conversations, and he always says everything right. And I go, dude, you're like a wealth of nutritional knowledge. Why don't you follow it? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I just can't do it.
Yeah, that is weird.
But knowledge doesn't always equal action.
Of course not.
That's the thing, right? Like everybody knows what they should be doing, but nobody does it.
Right? Or some does it, and usually they succeed if they just keep at it.
Yeah, some do it, and then they keep going. It's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing about human beings because there's so many pulls in different directions. And the pull that you have for yourself, like your sense of self and your sense of I should be doing what I know is right, is constantly under skirmish from all these other external influences, which are fighting for your discipline and are fighting for your control and are fighting for your attention.
Yeah, attention is a big one these days.
Yeah, right.
I find myself like I'm in the middle of making a track and I'm in basically in a flow state, and then like I get a message or something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check that, and then I check it, and suddenly I find myself like half an hour later just scrolling like an idiot.
Yeah,
like what the fuck happened? And I put the phone down. It's like, okay, put that away, and then a little while after I find myself scrolling again. I don't even know how the phone ended up in my hand. It was over there on the couch, and now it's in my hand again.
Yeah, and
like that kind of like everyone is fighting for our attention all the time, and it's like. It's harder and harder to actually stay focused on the task at hand. Yeah, and that can be very frustrating. So I had to go a few rounds with myself recently to figure out like how do I get out of that.
How do you get out of that?
I like what I've been doing is I've been putting like a time limit on Instagram, and I've also been deleting Instagram for a few weeks at a time. Yeah, and that actually does help a lot. Yeah, but then. So when it comes to the music business, what I've found, I've been like really resisting, TikTok. I've been resisting it a lot for many different reasons. But what I see happening again and again and again is that people, they succeed due to having some sort of hype on TikTok, that they get like they get traction for a track on TikTok, and then they release it and it blows up. Yeah, and they get like super popular, and they get to play all these concerts, and they get really successful. And it seems like you, unless you're already quite established, you kind of need TikTok in order to establish yourself.
But it feels like you're selling your soul, right?
Yes, right? I don't want it. No, I don't want it.
No.
And also it feels like not only that I'm selling my soul, that one is too, I don't want to do like the stupid TikTok dances and that shit. I want to release like content that is real to me. Yeah. But I'd rather not be on there at all. Yeah. But the main thing is that the thief of attention, like that attention thief, that like, oh, let's add another attention thief to the mix and see how easy that is. I'm already struggling just with Instagram,
Of course. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, it requires a lot of discipline, man. It absolutely does. But you know this, like you have all these like really big companies paying the smartest people in the world to design apps on phones that are
to make them as addictive as possible.
Yeah, that's their business model. Yep. So it's like, you're really fighting against billion-dollar corporations. Right. And the more you scroll, the more ads they sell, the more money they make to employ more people, to make things more addictive. Right. It's a pretty fucked cycle, actually.
It is.
And, I gotta, I do a few things because I'll end up going down these infinite scroll loops as well. But a couple of things that I do is I have a Kindle. So if I'm on a bus or on a train or something, whenever there's an opportunity to pull out my phone, I'll pull out the Kindle instead. And I leave my phone charged in another room when I'm at home. And sometimes I even put the phone in the car and I just fucking go up to the apartment. Yeah, especially if I'm with my my girl and my kids. I don't care if anybody calls me, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm not missing anything. Everybody's here. Everybody's fine. That's the one thing that people always say, oh, how do you spend less time? Oh, what if somebody tries to get a hold of me? What if it's an emergency? Okay, yeah, I get that. But when you're with everybody, everybody's cool. Fuck that emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's never an emergency either. It's hardly ever.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I had an emergency phone call. No.
I mean, I get them every now and again for work, but it's not really an emergency. It's
it's more hey, can you please step in right now?
Exactly. Yeah. Can you do this last minute? Somebody this, and it's no big deal if I miss it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's also a thing I've been thinking about, the whole emergency thing. But yeah.
yeah. Right?
Yeah.
They get you with the emergency thing.
Right.
Because it's so urgent. And you're constantly like, with all the pressure from the news and everything, you're on like a state in like a heightened state of alertness.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wow, war in the Ukraine. Oh, my God, inflation. Oh, they're rising the bank prices. Oh, food. Oh, I'm alert. I need my phone there. I got to check. What if there's a problem? This is bullshit, man.
Yeah. It's just to keep, again, it's a war for your attention. That's what's going on.
Exactly. And when you have a war for your attention, I feel like a part of your discipline, right? Like your discipline is split because now you're outsourcing or you're dedicating a certain amount of like mental resources towards something which isn't important. And then like your amount of discipline kind of decreases. And then you go, oh, well, it's just I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it's kind of just like this infinite cycle, which spills over to other areas of your life. So like if I'm spending more attention towards Instagram, I'm spending less attention towards writing jokes, towards performing jokes, towards filming jokes, towards putting those jokes out on social media or wherever, So it kind of like, it's fucked.
It's fucked. It breaks up my creative flow as well with the music and also like if I'm planning yoga sequences or whatever I'm doing, it's like it breaks it up and then I kind of fall out of the flow and it takes a little while to get back into it,
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't even get back into it.
No.
But I have a Remarkable. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
You
got one, yeah?
Yeah.
So I just got the keyboard for it.
Oh, cool.
Which is
that's dope.
It's dope, man. It's really dope, actually. And I got it yesterday, so I started playing around with it yesterday.
Yeah.
And it just opens this whole new realm of possibilities in order to, or with working without being disturbed. I could just like put the phone away if I'm able to, and not being too concerned about the potential emergencies.
Yeah.
And just type away, and there's no distractions. There's nothing to there's no app or no website trying to get me to log in or check this notification or whatever the fuck. It's like this. It's just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing about the Remarkable as well is that it's like a digital paper. It doesn't have that blue light.
Right. And you can, it feels like paper when you write on it.
Yeah.
And you can also download, that's also a little life hack that I discovered recently. You can download PDFs of different books. So I found like a bunch of different books I've been wanting to read.
Wow.
And I just downloaded the PDF and I loaded it into it. And now I have all of these stored in this little device.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. I read on the Kindle, and it's kind of like digital paper as well, but it's still I think it's better with the Remarkable because it's bigger.
Yeah.
The Kindle's good for traveling, but sometimes it's like man, like the words are really small. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm turning the page like every 20 seconds.
Yeah, you use a monocle.
Yeah, and I'm just pushing the button. Next page. Read. Next page. Next page. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, so getting these, like, that's interesting how technology takes us to this place where we now need devices to keep our attention away from the apps and away from the... so that's a new development in technology, is that direction.
Yeah, dude, it
is.
is.
Not new, but it's happening. Yeah.
The thing that like I draw parallels to when it comes to like this attention thing that like everybody seems to be struggling with is food. Like I feel like ultra processed foods are like the TikTok of food, and like more and more people, including myself, like not so much now, but you find yourself like, okay, I'm just gonna have this protein bar filled with fucking, ultra processed foods, and then I'm gonna just have this like whey protein powder, and then I'm just gonna have this grandiose, and you kind of eat so much sometimes that you never feel full, and that's the feeling that you get sometimes when you're scrolling on your phone.
Yeah,
you just keep going and going and going and going and going,
feeling more and more empty.
Yeah, ironically, yeah. And I feel like that's a kind of symptom of like modern day society. It's like you just get all of these facets of your life filled with these empty calories, whether it's like empty calories with food, empty calories with meaning in life, empty calories with like infinite scroll loops on your phone.
Yeah.
And you combine 2 or 3 of these things together, and then that's basically a recipe for human misery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we have other things to kind of take us out of that misery, like for example yoga, or like having a practice. It doesn't have to be yoga. It could be jujitsu, it could be calisthenics, it could be like, or just keeping your body in shape, and like, or working out and being active, and like working with your mind, like meditating or doing hard workouts that require you to like push through the resistance and these kinds of things where you don't have instant gratification. You get gratification from actually doing the work. So I think to balance that aspect of society out. We need more of that. We need to to do something hard, to work with something that's hard to do or that requires us to really focus in order to take us out of that just consuming and becoming more and more empty the more we fill up with.
Yeah, the pursuit of doing an activity is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like a physical activity, that's something that connects your mind and your body. That's the best.
Absolutely. And to me, that was what yoga was, right?
Yeah.
It connected all of that. And it took me to that place where like, oh shit, there's more here. I can go deeper and deeper and deeper into it.
Yeah.
So many aspects and facets of it. But now it's like, it's also what I've been noticing recently is that also the yoga environment, now that that's become more mainstream, when I started doing it, like no one's doing yoga. It's like, it's weird. Now it's different. Now it's like, plenty of people are doing, even like the rappers that used to make fun of me kind of like behind my back for pursuing the yoga thing. They're coming along now like, dude, bro, help me out, man. I'm fucked. Like my back is broken.
Exactly.
You know? Can we do something about this? I'm stiff as a log. Like, can I join your classes? And I'm like, of course, man. It's like, because there's nothing in me that wants them to stay away from that. I'd rather have them find that and be able to feel that for themselves and open up and feel more comfortable and be a better version of themselves, I guess.
Yep.
Like that's what we want, like more people to pursue these things. But I've found that in the yoga, now that's become more mainstream, it's like usually classes used to be like 90 minutes or 2 hours. That was back in the day. Like that was it, because then you get like the full practice, you get like to cover the whole body, you get to meditate, you get that long shavasana relaxation at the end and all that. But now it's like the classes are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and it's like 75 minutes is the new
90,
or even the new 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then the 60 minutes is the new 90 minutes, and then you have like 45 minutes and 30-minute classes, and it's like it's just going in that direction because it seems like that someone or the business community, yoga community, feels like people just want it fast and be done with the workout and go about their day, you know?
Yeah.
But when I talk to people in the classes, it seems like most of them would really like for the classes to be 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But, and then you have like ClassPass and Bruce and these kinds of, they're really good in order to get people to check out different places. And I really like the whole concept and idea behind them, that it makes it available to many people to check out. They can go do yoga and then jujitsu, and then they can go climbing and then go do sauna, and it's all in one thing. But it also is kind of the Spotify of the yoga world or the workout world, where it takes, it makes so that the yoga businesses, they earn less because they have to compromise and they have to go into these deals with these apps. So they make less, and they think that people want faster and just get it over with. So they cut down on the classes, and then that again.
Yeah, I get you.
So it just keeps going in that direction. Everything's like faster, more and more, quicker. And I don't know if that's the way, you know?
No, well, I guess from their point of view, they're like, well, if we get shorter classes, we get more people in, and then more people like might join up for the membership because we can offer more classes in a night or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but I see what you mean. Like, I really enjoyed the 90-minute like Bikram classes. You know that, and then they shortened them down to like 75, and they have like 60-minute options as well.
Yeah.
But like to get the full, 90-minute experience, there was like nothing better.
Right?
Yeah.
So the 90 minutes is like, I feel like that is like the threshold, or that is like what we need to get the whole package.
Yeah. Man, the thing is, like, after I lost Raw, which I was a member at since like fucking before Maya owned it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was a member there since a long time. I never really found a yoga studio that had a lot of times available that I could go to that was kind of near my place. And then I ended up joining High Yoga.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, I've got the SUTS membership with the weights, and then I get the High Yoga. But I resisted it for like a long time because SUTS were the company that bought up Jim Iller, and I was kind of resentful for that. And then I was kind of like, this isn't really like a yoga. This is like the McDonald's of yoga. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it might not really be like that, but that's kind of like how I felt, at least anyway. And I've been there, and it's nice and it's good, but they just like the reason I signed up with High Yoga was because they just offered a huge volume of classes, and that was it. And a lot of the yoga places that I looked at, they had like maybe one class in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they had like one or two classes in the evenings, and they were often like not that many spots. So then I go, oh, if I join one of these places, I got to pay like fucking 1,000 kronas a month to, so. Then I ended up going with High Yoga because at least I could get there and they had spots and I could train from day to night.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel like there was a lot of options in the yoga space. But where do you teach? And maybe I'm wrong. What's the...
No, yeah, I mean, you're right in at least to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And I do find that I do understand that view on the High Yoga thing. I've also been a High Yoga member for quite some time because I have friends who work there, so I get like a really good deal, and I've been substituting there a little bit, and I do find it to be like it's a nice place.
It's nice.
It's nice. It looks good.
Really nice.
It's clean. It's like and some really good instructors, and also there's this corporate vibe to it.
That's
as well.
the thing.
And that's what fucks with me. Yeah.
Me too. I don't like the corporate vibe.
No, me neither.
No, I don't like that. It's like, I know that it's this big corporation that owns Fresh Fitness, that owns Evo, that owns SOTS, and they're basically getting a monopoly on fitness.
And they're cynical as fuck.
Yeah. Right?
So it's like...
So I don't trust that.
No.
It doesn't resonate with the yoga spirit. That's why the perfect situation for me is like finding a yoga studio that has like a lot of times available that isn't so unaffordable. But the problem is that like they have to have prices at like 1,400 kronas, 1,500 kronas a month just to stay open.
Yeah.
And if they have more classes, that the price, there's a correlation between the amount of classes and the prices that they can put on. So they try to find a medium balance with doing maybe 2 or 3 classes a day that I might not have the time to go to. But the membership, like Bikram Yoga Oslo, I don't know what the membership is there, man, but it's probably fucking super expensive.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably I would say it's probably between 1,200 to 1,500 kronas a month.
Yeah. But I feel like that's most places these days,
right?
Because they had to crank up the prices, and I do think that's also due to the class pass and the Bruce thing. That a lot of people they don't want to become members and pay like 1,000 a month. They'd rather pay like 700-800 a Bruce or whatever it is, and then attend just maybe they're at a yoga place for like there are 2 other teachers that they really enjoy, and they usually go to their classes.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then they pay 1,000 a month to go to like 2 classes a week or 3 classes a week.
Yeah,
and then with the Bruce, they could still go to those classes, and they can go to other places and do other things for less money. And then that puts this yoga studio in like a situation where they have to kind of crank up the prices for the members in order to be able to stay afloat, and in order to not have to pay teachers less, for example.
Yeah.
And these things. So it is like it's hard to balance it, and that's why I kind of look at the Bruce and ClassPass thingies as like the Spotify of the yoga industry. Yeah. Because what Spotify did to the music industry was crazy. I was like, I feel like it was necessary in a certain way because we needed to get that like music more available to everyone. Yeah. And just like at your fingertips, because everything is going in that direction. So you can't have music like lagging behind. But still, it made it so that people can stream millions and not make any money of it almost. And if you sold millions of singles back in the day, that would be you'd make a lot of money off that, and now you have to make money off gigs, and then the record labels are like, okay, wait, you're making all your money off gigs, we want in on that. So they want like 360 deals where they kind of sign people and they take a little bit of money off everything they do rather than just the record sales, for example. Yeah. And I feel like that's like, it's that kind of vibe is like seeping like gradually into the yoga community and yoga environment as well. And it's contradictory. It doesn't feel like that is compatible.
No. The Spotify thing is pretty interesting because I remember like when I was growing up, I would spend $30 on a CD once every 1 or 2 weeks. Most often I could buy 2 a month. And that's what I saved up my money for, to buy a CD. And I would go to the store and we would listen to it and we'd go, hey, can you put this on? Can we check this out? And there would be all these listening stations, like 5 listening stations where they would play the CDs for you. You could skip it and all that kind of shit. And it was like this really big experience. And every time you bought a CD, it was like a careful choice. You read reviews in the source. You were like making sure, like, oh, do I want this one? So, oh, you would go with a friend. You go, hey, I'll get this one. You get that one. And then you would go home and you'd listen to the whole album like until you bought another one.
Right?
Yeah.
Multiple
times from beginning to end.
And the hits that were maybe the ones you liked the first time you listened to it, they kind of fell into the background eventually, and then the other tracks came forward like, oh wow, this is a really good track. I just needed to listen to it 20 times before I understood it.
Yeah. Exactly. But it was $30. That was like 20 years ago. It was a lot. And then, you know, like with Spotify, like you can pay $30 a month or whatever it is, $20 a month, and you get everything. You get all of it. And so it seems like it's a good deal for the consumer.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of dirty with Spotify is I think the labels own a part of it as well.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're getting the money from both sides, from the people that are listening and paying their subscriptions and from the artists that they have the royalty deal with.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like, that feels dirty.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard to navigate as an artist as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a hard business, isn't it? The music business?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think it's hard globally, probably.
Yeah.
In Norway, the community is so small. It's like, of course, it's growing and there's more people making music, and it's more opportunities to make music because it's software, it's more available and all that. But it's still a very small, little close community with a bunch of gatekeepers and like...
In Norway?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like that still.
Okay, so the gatekeepers are probably like the labels.
Yeah, it could be labels, some management, some people who have influence on the industry somehow. Maybe they're like they're executives, or they're working in radio, or they're working with they're writing reviews, or they're like the people in magazines or newspapers that are like tasked with writing about the music, and then they pick and choose who gets to be kind of who gets to shine or not necessarily shine. I mean, even a shitty review is better than no review. Even this is bullshit, I fucking hate this, is better than no response and just silence, radio silence, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's this... But that's also changing a little bit because now people have more reach as independent artists due to Spotify and all these things, which is also a really positive thing that comes out of it. Is I can, okay, you don't want it, I can release it myself.
Yeah, I feel like though that like when it comes to blowing up, what you really need is some kind of institutional recognition that what you do is good. And I feel like you need that with comedy. And I feel like you need that with music.
Is that globally or in Norway?
I would say in Norway.
Yeah, me too.
I would say in Norway. I would say like I know people that do say for example like comedy, and if they get on like a TV show, you know, whatever, or they perform like if they open for somebody who's big, then they get recognition from somebody who or an institution who's like, okay, look, we recognize this guy should have a spot at like Latter Live or on an NRK show or something.
Yeah.
Then other people go, oh, okay, NRK bet on this guy. Let's give him a chance.
Right.
And he might be like equally as good as somebody who didn't get that opportunity. But more people will, you know, recognize him, or his career will go better than somebody else because of the, you know, the institutional acknowledgement.
Yes.
And the same with radios, with music. Like if you get your song on the radio or it gets written up, there's a review or something, people that are reading it, they go, oh, okay, VG decided to give this a music review. Or now I'm listening to this on like NRK P3 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine actually, his name is Jonas Benjob.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing quite big with the music these days. He's getting a lot of recognition, which is really well deserved. He's been working on his craft for so many years, like putting in the work, and he's been like respected within the rap community. But outside of it, it's been like, maybe not so much recognition. Not people didn't get their eyes open, or they didn't really open their eyes to him until recently, where he was a featuring artist on the Carpe album.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
So he got on that, and then suddenly, like, it seems like everything changed for him. Like suddenly he's just like everywhere, and like he won Spellemann, and he's like all these things are happening because he was doing that, not because he didn't have the talent or all the whole package already, but because they needed to see him with those people that
Yeah.
they already respect, to
Yes.
say like, okay, we can respect him too, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to be, that's how it seems to work, at least in Norway. I don't know how it is globally. Like
Yeah.
that.
But you need to have both things. Like your friend, he was good. And like the people that go
Yeah.
on Love to Live or get it, and like they're good.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get those opportunities if you're not good. So you've got to be good. And then when something like that comes along, you get on like a featuring track with Carper, for example, then things start taking off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is understandable as well. It's like,
course.
it's very understandable. So I'm not kind of rejecting that as a thing. I think it makes sense. But also it's like, as an artist, sometimes you just want to create music and be true to the craft and create art, and then you have to be like a marketing guy. You have to be like really into the networking. You have to use the social media. You have to do all these things in order to be recognized.
Yeah, 'cause that's why I mentioned it, because like it is possible for you to put out or anybody to put out a Spotify track or a comedy album or whatever.
Yeah.
But you got to get attention on it, or
Yeah.
you got to get people to somehow see it, and that's where it seems to be like there's a discrepancy between.
The war for your attention.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Because you could have like the best song on something, but it won't get as much attention as like a song that's as half as good that gets played on the radio.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You see that with like there's like some random reality show where some girl makes fun of another girl and calls her lots of names, and then they take that and they sample the vocals and they make it into a track that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And it's like topping the charts.
Yeah, that's it.
It's crazy.
It's
and
weird.
It's the shittiest song ever.
Yeah.
But it is connected to that thing that people know this and they think it's kind of funny and they tune into that, and yeah.
That's why a lot of like comedians make jokes about like really popular events. Like, yeah, of course. Like if something just happened in the zeitgeist, where it's like 17. May, for example. Oh, that's a good thing. Or like if there's a big, like, I've been doing a couple of comedy sketches lately, and we did a comedy sketch about the police beatdown in Kongsberg, and we did a comedy sketch about.
I saw it actually.
You're right. It's so funny. It's stupid and funny, and we did another one very similar to that for the Barmer. The Barmer cocaine scandal.
Oh yeah, right. I saw that one too. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we did that because it's this really big hype. There's a lot of energy around that. And when there's a lot of energy around something, if you acknowledge it, then like you can kind of ride that energetic wave a little bit to get some attention around your own thing. So that's why we chose both of those topics. And that's what people that make samples out of like reality TV things, they're like, oh, that's really popular right now. Let's sample it, get the song out.
And it is it's business smart.
It's a strategy.
It's a good strategy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how's the climate with the comedy these days? Because now it's a little bit like worldwide. There's a lot of things you can or cannot say, and people get really offended, and it's like a lot of things going on. How does that affect your comedy? I'm curious.
It's touchy.
Yeah?
It's touchy. You got to be careful.
Yeah?
Absolutely. There's a lot of woke audiences.
Yeah?
Yeah. And that like vibe of being careful about what you can joke with is really spreading quickly. Yeah. So you got to kind of, sometimes you got to be really careful about what you can say and what you can't say. It's different. And it's different inside of Oslo than it is, in Lofoten, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in like urbanized environments, you have a lot more woke audiences.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. But people, like the world is changing, and people I feel like what you can joke about is like theoretically you should be able to make fun about everything. That's it. That's it. You should be able to make fun about every single type of person, anything that you want.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. And maybe it's not a good joke, or let's say it is a good joke, but it's because there's this big kind of debate about punching up and punching down, and that's always like this. There's these jokes of punching down. Now you're making fun of like handicapped people or this or that, And so, but if it's funny, it's funny. That's the thing.
I agree, and the whole punching down thing is also like, okay, I see what they mean, but also it's like it seems to be a strategy to shut you the fuck up,
And for them to get attention.
Right.
That's the thing. They're using that as a way to get attention for themselves.
Yeah.
They're just like these
people. They're riding the energetic wave.
They are, man. You get these people that are not really creating anything of themselves, and they're just like critics, or they're trolling the scanning, like, you know, the internet or your comedy material to find something to complain about.
Yeah.
And that's the real problem, because these are these people who are probably like ultra, I don't know, man, like they're kind of like Karens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
yeah.
A lot of them like Karens. And you could, here's an example. I have an example from my life of something that has happened. I said to, I made a podcast clip, and on the clip, my friend said, skal vi snakke norsk? And I said, ja, men jeg høres ut som, når jeg snakker norsk, jeg høres ut som jeg har en ekstra kromosomer. Bro, I got fucking not so many messages. I got two people that messaged me, and then they shared that clip, and then they wrote, if Inia James was saying this about black people, he would get a red card, and then all this kind of shit. Like, and then they're mean about it, and then they shared the clip, and they wrote all this stuff on their stories, and then they wrote to me, and they said, this one chick said, if you don't take it down, I'm gonna share this and tell everybody. And it was like this kind of like hush the technique.
Yeah.
It was like this kind of like take it down blackmail. I was like, oh.
Did you take it down though?
You know what? I took it down.
Okay.
I did. I took it down. Actually, I called the woman. One woman seemed to be like a little bit like disheveled, like mentally unstable. And then I called this other chick, and I spoke to her, and she said, listen, I have a daughter that's born with Down syndrome. And I was like, you know what? I don't care about this clip. But I wish I didn't take it down. I regret taking it down. But the pressure got to me. You know, they shared it to like, they each had a couple of thousand followers, and I kind of cracked under the pressure. And I was like, you know what? I just, fuck it. I'll take it down.
It's very understandable though, because like these things can like really get to you, and people start getting really mean about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're and very often like offended on behalf of someone else, and then they start getting mean and start offending you, and it's like
Exactly.
And there's like a contradictory element there as well. It's like,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to punch down,
Yeah.
but I am allowed to say whatever the fuck I want about you.
And they were
because
mean
you
to
did
me.
this.
They were
Yeah,
mean. In their
exactly.
post, they were saying all this shit that they knew. What is it about 55-year-old guys that? And I go, why did you say I was 55? You know, I'm not 55. She goes, yeah, I just wanted to kick back at you. I go, oh, well, that's a cunty thing to do.
Right?
She goes, yeah, I know, but you know, whatever.
You're like trying to be the good Samaritan, and then,
Exactly.
and then coming along kicking you.
So that's when I kind of like, you know, I realized that like, well, I mean, you know, I'm a dirty comedian, and I like making jokes about whatever the fuck I think is funny. And sometimes that's not for everybody, and it wasn't for them, and that's okay. And if that joke isn't for you, and you got a little bit offended about it, okay, then just be offended.
Yeah, go find a different comedian that you resonate with.
Exactly. Go find somebody else's fucking Instagram clips. Watch them. You don't need to like, oh, take the clip down. I'm giving you, this is what this bitch said. She goes, I'm giving you 30 minutes to take the clip down. Otherwise, I'm going to share this as a story and tell all of my followers that you don't like Down syndrome people. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
It's just like, it's whack. So, but now my stance is that like everybody is on the menu. You know what I mean? I'm going to make fun of whatever or whoever I think is funny.
Thank you.
Yes. And I think it's discrimination not to make fun of those people. I think it's boring if we just make fun of like 55-year-old FRP white guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be able to make fun of somebody in a wheelchair, or you should be able to make fun of somebody who's growing up in an impoverished part of the country. You should be able to make fun of, because there's humor in everything.
Yes.
And once you start like going, oh no, I can't recognize the humor in your existence, you're not acknowledging them. You're just ignoring them. You know what I mean? It's like you've probably seen a lot of like rap roast battles or comedy
I
roasts.
used to partake in those back in the day.
Did you?
Yes.
Nice. That's good.
But then there was a different climate back then. We could say anything.
Yeah.
Like I would talk about this guy's wife she was standing there.
Yep.
Like I was talking about her and how she was such a slut that she used the monolith in Frognerparken, monolithen,
Yeah.
as a dildo because she needed so many guys up her and like all these kind of things.
Yeah.
And we used to like that was the kind of thing we used to throw at each other.
Yeah.
And people would laugh their asses off and of course someone got offended. She got offended. She left.
Yeah.
But like and I understand, and I actually apologized a few years later. I was like, dude, that I'm sorry about that one. That was a dirty one. But you know,
But that's the game.
that's the game.
That's the
and
game.
You're in it, and
Yeah.
like I lost a bunch of rap battles, and I won a bunch of rap battles, and it's like, and some of the jokes that people, like when people took a piss at me, like, it was good. It was a good joke. It was hard hitting, and I didn't like it, but it was good.
Yeah.
And it's like undeniably.
You have to respect it.
You have to respect that.
You're in a rap battle.
Yes.
They're going to shoot at you.
Yeah, but then you're signing up for it. But
Yep.
like, I don't know how rap battles are these days. Like when everyone is like walking on eggshells. If that also transfers into that, 'cause it's been a bunch of years since I did that thing. But yeah, I think you should be able to make fun of basically anything, or at least like bring forward the humor in the existence of whatever it might be.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
right?
agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think that's what I think the climate is like in comedy at the moment. I think that like it's moving towards this. Okay, be careful what you kind of joke about. The topics that you can joke about are kind of under scrutiny.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I see some like that maybe more like really well-established, super famous American comedians, for example, who doesn't give a shit about that. They just keep doing their thing, and then the people try to cancel them, and they try to break them, and they just don't allow it to.
Yeah.
They just keep going, and then they see that people keep showing up for their things because people want it.
Yeah.
It's not like the whole culture is actually offended by all these things. A lot of people are actually refreshed by the take that some of these comedians has on society and on different parts of society.
You just have to be honest. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You just have to resonate with people like from a place of honesty about what you think is funny. And you know what I mean? Like that's it. Like there's this Australian comedian at the moment he's like getting, they pulled him before the Human Rights Tribunal because somebody in the audience complained because he made a joke about Aboriginals. And
Wow.
I know, and I think it was just one person complained, and then like it's a Human Rights Tribunal. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, and I wonder what causes this to be a thing now. What causes this climate to become what it is these days? Is it like, because I don't think it's niceness. I don't think it's people trying to be compassionate and nice, like genuinely. I think it's something else.
Yeah. I think it's attention, man.
Yeah, the war for your attention.
That's what I really think it is. I really think it's these people that are just looking to, ride the wave of somebody else's hard work by criticizing them and then being seen in the same level of spotlight as them without having to put in the work. That's what I really think it is.
Yeah, dude, I think that sounds very plausible.
And I think it's I think it's people that don't understand that comedy is not real life.
Yeah.
That's what I also think
It's
it is.
entertainment.
Exactly.
They're supposed to make you laugh. That is the name of the game.
Yeah, like if you watch a movie, like say for example, like fucking, I don't know, like Reservoir Dogs, or you're not like going to get angry that the actor killed somebody. Like, oh my God, or let's say John Wick. Like John Wick's killing 350 people per movie. You're not going to go, oh, Keanu Reeves is so bad for killing all those people. You go, it's an entertainment. It's a movie, guys. They didn't really blow up the Death Star. Fucking relax. These are just jokes. It's just jokes. I might not believe all of this shit. I'm just creating an art form in storytelling format for you to enjoy and laugh at. It's not a necessary reflection on how I think about everything. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. So, I feel like people need to kind of divorce the art from the artist sometimes.
Yeah, and I've heard that in certain states in the United States, they're implementing laws that prevent rappers from getting convicted using their lyrics as evidence in court.
Oh, they're gonna stop that.
Yeah, at least some states they're implementing laws to avoid that happening because they recognize that as an art form. And that they might talk about killing someone or shooting someone, and it's not true.
Exactly.
It's just they're trying to live up to this image or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's good, man. Because you listen to like so many rap songs, whatever, like Ice Cube or Notorious B.I.G. when he's singing about like people coming to rob him and like, oh shit, you got a red dot on your head. Oh, you got a red dot on your head too. Oh shit, you know what I mean? And all of the lyrics, it's kind of like a story about like a gang war or something that they've done. And It's not true. It's just a fucking dope story.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. It's escapism. There is this cool, man, there's this fucking, like, I love hip hop. I love it. I love it. But the hip hop that I love the most is like the most, like, almost like the darkest, most aggressive, like violent, criminal-based, hardcore hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I fucking love. Like, I love that shit. And if that got watered down because of like current woke culture and people couldn't keep rapping about like shooting cops or fucking drive-bys or selling drugs or any of that shit, I feel like it's a great loss to the art form.
Yeah.
You know?
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I also noticed how these that kind of rap, sometimes I really enjoy listening to it, and I grew up on listening to a lot of that shit, and I still do every now and then. But I also became aware at some point about like how these things, like the kind of the energy of the track, affects my mood and how I feel. And sometimes, like if I'm like doing a workout, a heavy workout or something, it's maybe very compatible. When I'm like sitting on a bus looking out the window, and then I hear like people just screaming in my ear about killing people and all these things, and like I notice how it affects me in a negative way.
Yes.
So it's and I backtracked that to when I was like, I don't know, 16-ish, listening to like I was like Jedi mind tricks, nonfiction, like these necro and like these kinds of rappers. And I was always like, of course, like teenagers are often a little bit depressed just because they're teenagers and they're all the hormones and everything.
Yeah.
But I noticed that I was walking around in that mind state in like a quite dark place in my mind. But all the music I was listening to was really dark as well.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that like not recent years, but when I was like 20 something, 22 maybe, 21, 22, I noticed how music actually affected my mood and the whole experience and the whole like atmosphere of wherever I was. So then I started like kind of tuning into different types of music that made me feel better, feel uplifted, and yeah. So I'm totally with you with the people should be allowed to create that music, but I also noticed that for me, it takes me to a place that I don't really want to be often.
I understand. Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah. But that's the place I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's why I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm a very positive person. You know, I would say a pretty fucking happy life, and you know I'm a father, and I do what I love. Like I listen to. I mean I do stand-up comedy. I do the podcast. I make videos. I take photos. I'm exercising 2-3 hours. I'm very happy. But I also want to stay in touch with like the darker side of humanity. Like sometimes when I'm watching a movie, like I really want to see, like, I don't want to watch like some fucking Disney version of Star Wars. You know what I mean? I want to see like the 18 plus. I want to see the negative side of life. I want to see the gritty side of things.
I totally agree.
Exactly. And so when I'm listening to that music, let's say for example, like, what's his name? Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite tracks.
That was one of my favorite tracks back in the day,
Exactly. And whenever I listen to that song, I want to be reminded. I want to experience that feeling. Because I'm just going through life 23 hours a day, relatively happy, everything's good. I want to fucking like tune into this like dark underworld fucking sense of what's going on. And I want to feel that. So I seek it often in the music as a balance to how positive and great life is in Norway.
Do you think that helps you keep your edge?
I think so.
Yeah.
I definitely think so. But, that's the type of storytelling that I enjoy. Like I like dystopic science fiction future stories.
Me too. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love like fucking like 28 Days Later, zombie apocalypse. I love the madness, like fucking Planet of the Apes, all that kind of shit. Those are the stories that I'm kind of drawn towards. I like seeing how people react in the shit. Everything's gone to hell. The worst you can imagine. 20 survivors. Earth is dead. What are you going to do? That's how I feel like these rap songs are. People that are in this place of disparity fighting their ways up. Or they're like, rival gangs. I like it as entertainment. I fucking love it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get it.
fucking
And
love it.
I used to love it more than I do now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I still love it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But what I've seen in Norway, which is quite like it's happening now, I think it's also calming down a little bit. But it's like so Sweden got really into the gangster rap, and became like a lot of different like suburbs and places where you really can't go if you're not from there, because you're not kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of shootings too.
yeah, a lot of shootings. People like throwing bombs into people's apartment buildings and like blowing up people's moms and shit. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not good. And then some of the Norwegian suburb kids and rappers, they look to them and they're inspired by them, and they try to bring that thing here.
Yeah.
We don't really have it here. We don't need it here, really.
No.
But still, some of these kids are trying to bring it here, and more kids are carrying weapons like guns and knives, and there's more and more shit happening, and it's a lot due to that side of the entertainment.
Yep.
And some of these guys are like, from what I hear, I don't know them personally, but I know some of them personally actually. But some of these like gangster rappers, that they tend to talk about stuff that they might not have done. And then I've heard that sometimes actual gangsters, they come along and check them.
Gotcha.
And they're like, hey, you're rapping about this shit. Like, let's see what you got, you know?
Yeah.
And then they have to kind of prove that they're about that life. And then they have to, and then they start living that life more and more. And then they get into it. And then they start doing all this shit that hurts all these other people.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they get locked up for it or whatever happens. But
Yeah. But that's not what I like.
No.
What I like is just the art.
and the energy of it.
Yeah, and what I like is that I don't care whether it's true. Like, I'm listening to Eminem. I know he's not fucking chainsawing his girlfriend in the basement. I know he's not doing that. I understand that it is not real. And that's the same with like comedy. I know it's not real. And with like a movie, I know John Wick didn't kill those 300 people. And I know that, like, if I listen to a song by somebody, that I know it's not real. It doesn't need to be real.
Yeah.
But the problem is that maybe some of these, like, rappers are thinking that, oh, if I'm rapping about it, it has to be legit. And that's where things get fucked up. That's when they end up getting into bad situations and getting in trouble. But for me, as the listener, you could make a song about, like, fucking whatever it is. And as long as the rap is good and the story is good, I'm going to resonate with it, knowing that it's not true.
Yes.
That's the difference.
And that's the same with the comedy. You're not trying to live what you're saying in comedy. You're just looking at the world, and you're picking things that are funny to you, and you enhance them, or you blow them up and you make them very
I'm just
clear.
trying to
You're painting a picture.
I'm just trying to make you laugh, man.
Yes.
That's it. And that's it. That's all I'm trying to do. And if you're like telling an aggressive hip hop story, you're just trying to entertain me in a way. Like, this is a 3-minute action movie. That's how I look at some of these like hip hop songs. I go, oh shit.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, right. Like, there's a song that I listen to quite every now and again. It's called it's Ice Cube Ghetto Vet. I don't know whether you know that one.
I know the title. I'm just trying to remember it. But
It's a story about a gangbanger who was just walking, and then 2 little kids rolled up on like a bike. One was sitting on the handlebars, and they go, hey, are you Ice Cube? He goes, yeah. And then they go, fuck you. And then they shoot him, and then he ends up in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And then like he's rolling up the hill, and all the homies say, hey, can we hide drugs on you? And his dick doesn't work, and he's eating pussy a lot, and he's still, you know what I mean? It's I know Ice Cube didn't get shot.
Yeah.
He's not in a wheelchair. That motherfucker's going fishing and in TV shows.
Yeah, right.
But it's a story. It's a cool story. And I like it. It resonates with me. But I'm a very story-based hip-hop fan. You know what I mean? Like, some of my favorite songs in hip, let's say, for example, like Stan by Eminem. You know, there's 3 short stories, 1 per verse. And you go, this motherfucker, he's like just telling stories, and they're entertaining. They're really visual. So when hip hop is like really visual, especially if it's visual in a over the top way that like often involves violence or something like that, it really paints a lot of pictures in my head. And I go, yeah, you nailed it.
All right, cool. Yeah, you reminded me of a bunch of different tracks that I haven't heard in years. I'm gonna go listen back to them.
Yeah. Dude, that's all I'm listening to. I mean, I basically have the same. Not all that I listen to. I listen to like a lot of new Australian hip hop as well, actually, because I really like the accents. Aussie hip hop is cool. Yeah, but I'm listening to a lot of old shit constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, I think we tend to listen to a lot of what we grew up on, right?
Yeah.
But also, I like a lot of the new stuff as well.
Who's good to listen to new hip hop?
One of my favorites is, do you know Absol?
Nope.
No, it's been one of my favorites for quite some time now. I think I discovered him in around like 2012, 2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's an American rapper. He's in the Top Dog Entertainment with Kendrick Lamar. I don't think he's there anymore, but with him and Schoolboy Q and J Rock and it's like that group of people. And he's I find that he has his balance between like having one foot in the streets and like and whatever's going on there, and one foot out in space and like psychedelics and spirituality and whatever it might be, and then he's able to weave these together in a very interesting way. So I found that to me when I was transitioning from just being like the rapper guy to the yogi rapper, then that was really appealing to me because I found that, okay, there's at least one other person in the world who's connected in both directions. Because in Norway I faced mostly resistance, I found, but also a lot of people enjoyed it and wanted it. But in the rap community, it was a lot of resistance, and then that's been changing throughout the years as well. But to have that one person that was like, okay, he's doing it, and people are feeling it. So, but then I also that's also one of the things that's made me want to rap more in English, you know, because then that can connect to that global audience rather than just this little bubble that's back home here. So he's one of the people I've been listening to, and there's a guy called British rapper named Loyal Carner. I'm just gonna take the few people it just pops up in my head right away. And another American rapper called Saba. It's like what I found with all of these is that they seem to be talking about what is actually real to them, and they are able to talk about what's going on like here, but they're also connected to something that is they have like a broader perspective on things as well. I find. And they're poetic in how they portray their music. So that's what I'm into more these days. It's like something that is a little bit has an element of poetry in it, not necessarily like I mean there's poetry in the gritty hardcore storytelling as well, right? But I like when things can be both gritty and like down on earth and also beautiful and poetic and ethereal.
No, I see, I agree. I totally agree.
And deeply personal sometimes, that when they really, you can feel their emotions, or you can feel how they were feeling writing this. It makes me feel, that's how I connect to music more and more, is that it makes me feel a certain way, or it triggers emotions in me. So you reminded me of this Australian artist called 360. Okay.
And he has a song about losing a baby. And it'll make you like, it's brutal, man. It's like, it's brutal. It's about his wife in the hospital, and like he builds it up really well, where like, you know, he's like trying to like look after the mom when she's pregnant, and then he rushes her to the hospital, is so excited. And then they fucking push the baby out, and then the baby was a stillborn. The baby was dead. And then it's like fucking, you know, all the hopes that they had of being a family like disappear, and then he starts fucking drinking, and the relationship goes to hell and everything. You know what I mean? It's a long song, but it's amazing. It's really amazing.
I gotta check it out.
It's I think, I don't know what it's called, Baby by 360 or something.
Okay.
He's an Australian artist. He's a really good rapper, and he's an example of like a rapper that I really enjoy. He's not really gritty. He's not really. He's like he's just got really good flow. Like he's got good flow. The lyrics are clever, and the beats are good. Like that's all I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you heard of Belly?
No,
he's also one of my favorites, but he's more gritty again, and he's talking shit, but he has all these really clever word plays, and he has this attitude and this presence that's that I find rare
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's Canadian actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Belly, check him out. He's one of my favorites these days as well. And also this guy named Mick Jenkins
Okay.
has this really like deep, rugged voice.
So, you know, when we're finished, I'm gonna give you my Spotify account, and you just find these guys and then add them for me, because I desperately need to find new hip hop to listen to.
All right, cool. I got you.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Shit, man. No, but fucking yeah. I think like that's what I was gonna say. I feel like there's a connection between hip hop and comedy, where like fans want you to be clever. You know what I mean? Like if you say it, like if you have like a pretty good double, triple entendre, or if you're like putting something together in a way that you go, oh, fuck, you put a lot of effort into that. Like you thought of that. That's got like layers of meaning. Damn, yeah, man. They recognize the craft of you constructing a good lyric. And they also recognize the craft behind you constructing a good joke.
Do you feel like the Norwegian audience is able to like kind of get those layers of meaning in a joke that's conveyed in English?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people can, definitely. Yeah, some people can. Some people don't master the language or the culture as well to be able to do that, but a lot of the young people definitely can.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I remember I used to, there was a Norwegian comedian who used to do comedy in English, and maybe still does, that we used to hang out a bunch back in the day, and we used to go for walks in the woods every now and then, and he'd just like lay all these jokes on me, like savage, crazy jokes, and like really on point jokes about like society or like government or media or whatever, that was like kind of, it felt almost important that he got that across and that he shared that. But then he only shared that mostly with like his friends and his close circle and like with me in the woods or whatever. Whereas on stage, he had a different approach, because the Norwegian audience didn't seem to be able to grasp like the layers of meaning when it was in English, at that time at least.
Did he tell the jokes to you in English?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I was laughing my ass. I was like walking around in the woods for a couple of hours, just laughing till it hurt, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was watching his stand up, and I was like, and then I laughed here and there, but it wasn't. It was playing as too safe, you know.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Trying to accommodate the crowd rather than just do the funny.
My goal is I'm trying to play to the smartest or the most. I don't want to play down. I'm going to play. 80 of you didn't get this joke, but 10 of you did. And the 10 of you that got that one, you recognize you saw what I did there. You guys get it. You know, and that happens a lot with references. Like sometimes I just, as a tag, I'll throw like a reference in there, like something kind of obscure, like a Star Wars reference or fucking, you know what I mean? Something like that. And not everybody's, you know, heard that song or listened to or played that video game. I'll mention a bunch of video game references sometimes. But the people that do, they're like, fuck yeah. And those are the people that come up to you afterwards and go, man, when you said that, that's the one. And I go, yeah, nobody else got that, but you got that.
It's satisfying, right?
Yeah. It's satisfying. Because then, like, I think what you do as well is like, you have like, I don't know, man, like you have so many different styles and comedians and genres and stuff like that. But let's say you have a room of like 100 people in the audience. I don't know, you're doing a show with like 8 people, you might be the favorite comedian for 10 people, 20 people. And the other people, you might be equally as good as the other comedians in the lineup, but they just like jazz instead of hip hop.
Right.
And that's it. And so I'm not trying to play to everybody. I'm trying to play to my people.
If you try to play to everybody, it becomes generic and watered down, and it doesn't hit as hard. It's the same with I find the same with yoga classes actually.
Oh,
like,
yeah, interesting.
I find different connections between like now comedy and rap. There are more connections that I actually knew, but now that I see them, it's quite obvious.
Yeah, right.
But there is a lot of connection there, and also with the yoga and the rap as well. There are connections there.
Yeah.
And with like being a yoga teacher, you're not doing a performance, but you kind of are, because you're trying to like get the attention, the people's attention. Again, you're fighting for their attention, and you're trying to convey something. And then I'm losing track of where I was going. So now I remember. So sometimes when I try to make it for everyone, then it becomes like watered down and it doesn't like no one really connects to it. But then when I do it my way and I'm just being myself fully and I try to convey the messages that I feel are appropriate at that time, then I see that maybe it's just 2 or 3 in the crowd that really resonate with it, or they get what I mean, or they see what I'm pointing at. And then that resonates deeply with them and they come up after and they're like, dude, that was a great class. And then like half the people walk out and they're just like, they're not even looking at me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but sometimes people just shy. You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes people do that and they send me a message after, or like a half a year later, I meet them some different setting and they're like, hey, dude, that class was great. And I was like, oh, yeah, he didn't even look at me. It was like, because people are just different.
They're different.
But I find that when you just do your own thing,
that's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens. And then that's where people connect to what is true rather than you trying to make it into something not true in order to please someone. That's what people pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never works.
Never works, right?
No. You got to do the class that you want to do.
Yes.
You got to make the song. You got to make your favorite song.
Yes.
I got to tell my favorite jokes.
Yes.
That's it. And it's not going to be everybody's favorite jokes, but it's going to be some people's favorite jokes. And you know what? Even if it's nobody's favorite joke, it's my favorite joke, motherfucker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's satisfying just to have that joke.
Yeah, it's so satisfying
in the world, you know?
Yeah. It's the essence, because if you're not keeping yourself happy, and this is such a cliche, but if you're not keeping yourself happy, you're not really keeping anybody happy, man.
No, it is a cliche because it's true. I find that most cliches are cliches because they're on point.
Yeah, really, they are. Yeah.
So yeah, that one that you have to kind of you can't share from an empty bag of candy. There's nothing in it to share. You have to you have to fill it up, and you have to be you have to work on your self-love and your self-respect and your integrity and your centeredness within your own being in order to be able to make other people happy as well. Like if you're in a relationship and you're only trying to please that other person is going to leave eventually, probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because you need to take care of yourself and you need to,
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it really is. Like you need to make sure that you're living the life that you're supposed to be living.
Exactly.
And that really is like the essence of happiness. You know, you have a certain amount of responsibilities and duties to, you know, care for other people and to make sure that people around you are living well. But if you're, like, I say this all the time with jiu-jitsu. Like, jiu-jitsu is a pretty time-consuming sport. Like, it's a 90-minute class. People train 3 nights a week, usually, minimum. And it's, you know, it's a 30, you know, you're gone for 2.5 hours, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Women, if they're not training, they're at home. They're like, okay, you're going to jiu-jitsu again. You're going to jiu-jitsu again. Are you really going to go? But the thing is, like, you know, you got to give and take. But, like, if you're not going to jiu-jitsu, you're not happy.
Yeah, and then you're not that present within your family and your home environment, right?
Yeah, exactly. So sorry, you were going to say something.
No, yeah, you were going to say something too.
I was going to say, so you just got to find a way to make it work for you. Yeah. But if you're neglecting yourself, that's like the trap that's going to lead to the ultimate demise for you and your family. But just everything's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Like I try to give myself holidays throughout every single day. Every single day. I'm trying to like... work out in the morning. Okay, I'll do jiu-jitsu in the evening, comedy in the evening, go to the woods, go to the sauna. I'm always trying to find at least 1 hour, preferably 2 to 3, where I'm doing things just for me. And the days that I get to do those things, they're the best days.
Yeah.
The best days. And those are the days where I'm the best father.
Yeah. Right?
I'm the best dog owner. I'm the best boyfriend. And, you know, it's just like that. And if I go too long without those things, kind of like I'm not feeling good, man.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. And then I'm a shitty dad, a shitty boyfriend.
I did that recently with the music because I was working so much as a yoga teacher. That's also been a weird balance, like trying to be able to pay my bills and be financially secure with the yoga without like depleting myself completely and still having the money and the time and the energy to create the music. and then I neglected the music for quite some time because I was trying to make money to pay for it by teaching so much yoga that I wore myself out. And then I noticed that I was starting to get depressed, and I was like, oh shit, I had like a little breakdown in my car, and I was like, oh wait, this is not good. What's happening? And then I recognized that I haven't really been creating music for the past 6 months. And then I decided that I was going to do something about that, and I was able to, and I started creating more music again. And then that like semi-depression kind of state just disappeared right away.
Yeah.
And because that is one of my purposes, is to create this, regardless of millions of people hearing it or not. It feels like that is my purpose, is to create that for my own happiness, at least. And luckily I have this like really supportive girlfriend who is also really creative, and she's a dancer and videographer and choreographer, and she understands that to be able to be creative, you need certain things in place, and you need the space to do it, and you also need to take care of your body and move, and she understands all these things. So being a yogi and a rapper is very compatible with being a dancer and videographer, for example. So but I've been in relationships earlier where it's been different, where it's been like with someone who doesn't get it, who's like, oh, you're going to the studio again?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Go do your thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no,
They don't have a thing.
Here, yeah, they don't have a thing. That's it, right?
That's the problem.
Yeah, the problem is there's no thing. You are the thing.
Yeah. You're responsible for their happiness.
Yes.
You're the thing.
I've been in that kind of relationship as well. It's
Me too.
It's toxic.
It's draining.
It's draining.
And
super draining.
they compete against the purpose you have in your life.
Yes.
And
right.
that's a battle that either you lose or they lose.
Yeah.
And you can't lose that battle for too long.
No.
No.
Because then that also, of course, affects the relationship, and you you become unhappy and unstable and out of balance. And then you're trying to be in that relationship. You chose that relationship over your passion.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work like that.
No.
So that's what I found, and with my girlfriend, she's supportive. And she understands that I need to do these things.
Yeah.
And I understand when she needs to go to the studio to film and be gone the whole day.
Of course.
And of course, like,
Yeah.
and it's actually really refreshing that, okay, you do your thing, I do my thing. We can sit in the same room. She's working on her video project. I'm recording a song. I'm like, hey, can you please shut up for a little bit? I need to record this thing. Just shut up. It's like, okay, cool. And she shuts up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done recording. And she like, I need to play this thing. Can I play this out loud? Can you stop your recording a little bit? Okay, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe how people don't have a thing.
No,
I
there's
can't
so many things.
there's so many things, and I have so many things. And even if comedy didn't exist, or podcasting didn't exist, or jiu-jitsu didn't exist, or weightlifting didn't exist, or yoga didn't exist, I would fucking I'd find other things. I would find other things.
There are infinite things.
There's infinite things. I have to limit the amount of things that I do.
Me too.
To be good at the few things that I love the most. I used to play piano fucking all the time. I cut out piano because it was incompatible with me doing jiu-jitsu and comedy.
Because there's not enough time.
There's not enough time.
Yeah.
I can't get to the level of comedy that I want to get at if I'm fucking reading sheet music and practicing for 30, 40, 50 minutes a day. And in the end, I loved comedy more because it was more social. And with the piano, I'm just sitting by myself with headphones on like a loser. You know what I mean? Playing fucking Disney songs.
But I mean, piano's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but so is hanging out with 8 of the funniest people in Oslo, fucking drinking beer, telling jokes, going on stage and supporting each other.
Yeah.
That is more beautiful to me. And so I have to have a hierarchy of passions that I rank, and I have to keep them close, and I guard them, and I dedicate time to each and every one of them. But if I didn't have them, I would find other passions, because there's a fucking ton of things that I'm interested in.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
But the weird thing is when you like, and it's often you meet somebody in one of these pursuits who has a partner that doesn't have anything. And you know what I mean? And I can't understand how they don't have anything that they love so much that they obsess over it and just want to do it all the time.
Where it's like, what do you do? No, I work. What do you do for a living? No, I have this job. I don't really like it that much. And then I do that. And then I go home, and then I watch series, and then I eat dinner, and I go to sleep like that, and just repeat. Like, there's so many, there are infinite possibilities. So many things you can explore. And yeah, so it's not relatable.
It's
for
weird.
me, either. But
It's weird.
But
And
there's a lot of people like that. It's
I
not
know.
like just every now and then there's here and there's one person who doesn't really have a thing. I feel like almost like most people don't have a thing.
yeah.
Yeah, which is very strange.
It's a lot of chicks, man.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. Like,
Let's just say it.
I'm sure there's a lot of I have to say that. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that don't have things.
Humans.
There's a lot of guys. But from my experience, I've dated several chicks that don't have things, and my things have been problems.
Same.
And I know several friends who are dating chicks or doing, and they don't have things. And I go, how come your girlfriend doesn't have a thing? And guess what? Every now and again, their girlfriend will find a thing. And oh my God, she found a thing. Awesome. And then everybody's so much happier.
Yes.
But I don't know, maybe like, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's just a different type of way that guys think about obsession, because there really has to be a degree of obsession behind something. Or maybe it's risk taking, or like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is, man. But for whatever reason, from my experience, I feel like a lot of guys get drawn more to things that they can dedicate countless hours to, even like fucking video games.
Yes.
You know, maybe it's like a problem solving thing in our heads that we need like some constant challenge, or we feel some sort of self-worth over things. Maybe some chicks just feel this self-worth automatically without this task. But I feel like men are really task oriented. Like, we need a task. I need to get better at comedy. You need to get better at rapping. You want to do this. You want to do that. But, you know, that's kind
a
of
biological thing. It's like,
could be.
It could be. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you know, like at the bottom, at the base of everything, like the male brain and the female brain is just different.
Yeah.
Like, it's
course.
fucking different.
Yeah. And it's saying otherwise it's
ingenuous.
Yeah.
You know?
So, because of course there are differences,
Yeah.
and you can see that in every part of society and how we approach things, and if we have a thing or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I have to say this one more time. Women have things too.
Yeah, we're joking.
I guess women, I understand if you're a woman and you have your passion, I get it. But a lot of women don't. And a lot of men don't too.
Of course. I do have old friends that I'm not really in touch with so much anymore because they don't have a thing.
Exactly.
Really. So it does apply to a lot of men as well.
Thank you.
And well, it does. And some of these guys, like I heard, I met a friend the other day. He's like, yeah, so this old friend of ours, he got married. I'm like, what? How did he? No, there has to be another guy getting married, and then it turns out it wasn't him.
No,
it was another guy. Because I was like, this guy doesn't have a thing, and then he's talking about he's working there. It's like he's quite successful there, and he's got a wife now, and it's like that can't be that guy. And it turns out that guy is still not. He still doesn't have a thing.
Yeah,
and he's just he's working in a grocery store, I think, which is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that at all. But it's like, I think that's what he's doing. And I don't think he's in a relationship, anything like that. Just simply because there's nothing that he's not passionate about anything.
Passion, bro. All a thing is an outlet for your passion.
Yes.
That's basically it. And if you're living a passionless life because you're not channeling, you're not excited by something. Like I've been training jiu-jitsu for fucking 8 years, man. I still turn up to jiu-jitsu and I am fucking excited for the technique of the day. Yeah. And I'm passionate about sparring. Whether I get my ass kicked or I'm doing well that night, I'm nervous. I'm excited. I want to go. I want to go to jiu-jitsu every fucking day. I can't get enough of it. The same with stand-up comedy and podcasting for that matter, and weight training and yoga and going to the sauna. Like,
do you still do yoga?
I do. I have a home practice, and I'm a member of High Yoga, but I haven't been for a while. It's been months since I've been, actually. Yeah. So that's the thing that falls under the priority list for the hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
Unfortunately. But the yoga's the one thing that I was going to do a yoga class this morning, actually. But then I thought, no, I'm going to fucking do back and biceps like a meathead. Yeah.
I'm actually starting getting a little bit more into that kind of workouts as well recently.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels nice to balance it out.
Yeah.
'Cause I used to do a little bit of that back in the day, and then I found the yoga, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this.
Yeah.
And I did that for many, many years, and it's been working out quite well. But it's like I felt like I needed something else. Like I needed something a little bit more, more powerful. Yoga can be very powerful and very like, full power, full force, but still lifting weights and doing that kind of workout is different.
It's different. You probably feel like you need more of what I'm doing, and I need more of what you're doing.
Yes.
Like the one thing I definitely need for, like longevity and flexibility and strength, I need to do more yoga.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I probably at least 2 to 3 times a week.
And I need more weightlifting and that kind of thing. So I think we're trying to balance ourselves out, right? So that we're in balance, we're in tune, we're centered, and we're not necessarily comfortable all the time, because that's kind of where we die eventually, and just being comfortable all the time. So we need to get out of the comfort zone, and whether that's yoga or physical like workout with weights or whatever it might be. And then people are running around all day, every day, doing like tasks and fixing shit and working out or whatever. They need like yin yoga, to be able to calm down. Whereas people who are not really doing much and just kind of sitting around all day, and they're just like sitting at a desk just typing away, and then they might need more of the like vinyasa or hatha or something like that to kind of get the posture right and kind of get out of that open up and strengthen and
that's what I need, I think, because as a grappler you're like this, you're like constantly hunched forward, like arched in that position, like trying to stay in tight, so I need to do the exact opposite of those movements. But I'm just gonna like tell you, man, like when I did your yoga classes, I loved them. I thought you were like such a good teacher.
Thank you.
I really felt like you were walking the yoga path, and I really felt like when I was in your presence that I'm around somebody who's really dedicated to this discipline.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And did you have like bowls, Tibetan bowls? Was it?
No, I don't. I didn't have those. Maybe there's a different teacher.
Maybe it was somebody at Raw Yoga. No, but your classes were good.
I remember you came to a bunch of the classes.
Yeah.
Had to resonate at some level, because you kept coming back.
Yeah, but I remember your classes were like they're really good, and you're a good yogi. Like you can do a lot of shit with your body.
I can do a lot of shit with my body.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make you a good yogi, though. Like it's only the surface thingy.
You're good at the techniques.
Good at the techniques, and also conveying the techniques usually. Is that's for some that's harder, for some that's easier. I mean, that's gotten quite easy. Whereas noticed how like teaching a lot of yoga and doing a lot of those physical exercises and not prioritizing meditation, for example, as much, that kind of made me less connected to what yoga really is, because it becomes just like a workout or gymnastics.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's not yoga. That's one aspect of yoga, or one of the limbs of yoga is the asana practice, the physical practice. Yeah. But yeah, I can do a lot of weird shit with the body and bend the legs behind head and all around the place.
Were you always flexible, or did you just kind of develop that?
I think I was quite flexible when I was a kid. I think most kids are flexible. Yeah. But then it depends on how you live your life. And I remember when I was a kid, we used to sit in these like at elementary school. I was sitting in the music classes where I had music lessons. Yeah. And I was sitting with my legs crossed in like a lotus posture for 45 minutes straight.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know why I did it. I just thought it was fun. Yeah. And I used to do that when I was even younger as well. When I was dancing with I used to go to one of my neighbors, one of my friends who was also one of my neighbors. Yeah. And we used to play and we used to like dance to Michael Jackson, and we used to do all these different things. But then one thing I also remember was we used to put the legs in lotus and we walked around the floor on our knees. For whatever reason, thought it was fun. And I kept doing these things. I think like some of that kept the body a little bit open. And when puberty hit, I had like developed quite a lot of flexibility in the hips already. Yeah. which made it easier for me to open the hips when I got into yoga again. I was quite young still.
Yeah.
So that made it easier. But when I see now people are like been just walking in straight lines and riding bikes and sitting on chairs and doing that shit for years and years, and then they tried doing yoga to open the hips, it's like, it's very hard.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit to work through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my flexibility as a kid, and I kept that.
You never lost it.
I never quite lost it fully, but when I started doing yoga, I became way more flexible than I was. And way happier. So that was good.
Yeah. There is a connection between, man.
I was thinking about something. It's actually been a thought that's been coming back to me, and I've been laughing at it a few times, like throughout the years since I saw you at Raw. And it's like I remember the last class I saw you in, one of my last class that I saw you in. It was like it was a yin yoga class. And I remember I was usually after the yin yoga classes, like we used to have like a little talk, and it was good. And it just felt like, oh, that was a good connection. And that class, I was trying out a new playlist, and I was checking out like playing different songs, and one of the songs, like when in Shavasana, was like a really like it was I mean it's a nice song, but it's like a very cheesy spiritual song, and I was like, and I hadn't really listened back to it like fully, and then I was playing it, and like halfway, like not even halfway through it, I was like, man, this song, I don't know about this, but like we're in it now. I can't really just pause it and switch it, and so I just kept it playing, and then after that, like the vibe was different, and after that, I never saw you again until now. So that's
it's because of the song, man.
Yeah, the thought came back to me multiple times. Like, was it the song? Like, what the fuck? Like, it was just a song, but it was just a funny thought. I've had it happen probably like 5-6 times last few years. Like suddenly I think of you and this song.
I can guarantee you it definitely wasn't
the song. It
wasn't
the song.
Not at all.
I told my girlfriend about it this morning, actually.
Yeah.
She was like, it wasn't the song. I'm like, I know it wasn't the song, but it's just an interesting thought that keeps coming back for whatever reason.
Yeah. It's weird how your mind plays tricks on you like that.
Right?
You start thinking like it's like this like weird second guessing of yourself. Like,
and not even necessarily believing it. It's just like the thought is there.
Yeah.
And if you have at least learned enough about yourself to recognize that your thoughts are not you, the thoughts are not necessarily you or true. But you can observe the thought being present in your mind and be affected by the thought still, while recognizing that this is probably not true. This is just some weird story.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it coming from?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where it's like this story comes up and I'm like looking at the story and it's ridiculous. But it's still there.
Yeah.
And I can still feel the effects of it somehow. Yeah, it's fun.
That's bizarre.
Right?
That's really bizarre. That's not a self-serving thought either. That's not like a positive thought. That's a negative delusion.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think we're all of us are full of these delusions.
Of course.
Both positive and negative.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Some have these like grandiose thoughts about ourselves that are not really how other people perceive us at all.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. And vice versa, the other way around.
Well, the other way around could lead to suicide.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And you see all these people that like end up taking their own lives, and it's like, what did you like? You know, no, everybody loved you, man.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? Robin Williams, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, why? You killed yourself, man?
Yeah.
Why? Everybody adored you.
But I had like several friends like that who everyone adored them. They were really, really nice people, both men and women, who took their own lives. Where it's like, we all loved you. And you could have just come to us to talk. Maybe like mental health wasn't really that much up in the public like discussion in the media and everything like it is now after the pandemic and everything. But it's like still these people had like all these friends and all these people who loved them and would have been there for them to help them out if they just kind of shared that they were struggling.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They kept it to themselves. Maybe not to burden people or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's a pity. It's too bad. It's a shame that
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know like what's going on in people's like psychologies,
Yeah.
but a lot of it is probably like that same type of thought that you had.
Yeah.
Like this weird like idea of something that is probably like not even real, you know.
It's like an intrusive thought, and you start believing in it.
Yeah.
And then it keeps building, and it starts like getting like power over you more and more.
That's
and-
the weird thing about thoughts, man. The
Yeah.
amount of control that they can have over what you do is very strong.
And how they are present within your mind, but you are not creating them, or where are they coming from? What are they? And they're so present, and they're like this layer, this veil between you and reality, more or less, and it kind of colors the entire experience of where you are. Like this moment now, I feel like I'm not. I don't have many thoughts going through my mind now. It's all coming out my mouth, but if I started like overthinking the situation, or I could switch my mindset, or I can recognize thoughts that would make this situation feel very different than it feels right now, and being aware of how we think and not necessarily believe in our thoughts. I think it's very healthy to learn that skill.
Yeah.
But that requires like meditation and these kinds of, or psychedelics, or like there are many ways to go about it. But thoughts are weird, man.
Yeah, thoughts are really weird, man. They're really, really, really weird. And that's another thing that like, that's why like this war for attention is also a war for your thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like your thoughts are getting constantly manipulated and shaped by the external stimuli that you're exposed to on a daily basis.
Definitely.
So if you're like scrolling through particular feeds, or the algorithm just shoots up all of these things into your feed, your thoughts are getting programmed and designed to be a particular way. And that way may be healthy, but it may also slide into the dark side. And you see that with conspiracy theory people. You know, in particular, you know, like the conspiracy theorists' algorithm is just like fucking filled with, you know, nonsense like flat Earth. And
yeah, you get more and more of it the more you dive into it.
So if you start walking down like an algorithmic path of darkness, and you just keep going and going and going, it's just like, oh, you like this? How about this? Let's get darker. Let's get some more shit.
Yeah.
That can like really trigger some kind of psychosis or negative behavior.
I actually did that back in the day when I was smoking a lot, and I was like sitting there just looking at like, started like off with UFOs and aliens and these things, which I still find super fascinating.
Of course.
But it's really, really interesting. But then and got into that, and then that took me to other places, and I had all these questions about the world and the universe and our purpose here and society, and how it felt like we were being lied to, and what is true and what is not, and I tried to ask like the people around me about it, but everyone's just looking at me like I was crazy. So then I ended up in this like rabbit hole of YouTube and these things, you know, and the algorithms kept feeding me this shit.
Yeah.
And that was quite a while back, and the algorithms are way stronger and different now. But back then, it's like it took me to some very dark places, and I ended up in a place where I was like, the world is such a dark fucking place to live in, and all the politicians, they just want us to be unhappy servants, and everyone is lying to you, and it's all like happening behind in the shadows, behind the pulling strings behind the curtain, and like all these kinds of things, and then that made me just super unhappy.
Yeah.
And then I found yoga. Like in the bottom of that hole, I actually found a guided meditation somehow.
Nice.
And that popped up, and I was like, and I went into that, and I started it was actually a written guided meditation, not an audio one.
Yeah.
It just gave me instructions on how to for one meditation technique. So I decided to try it, and then I felt better. And then I just started pursuing that more and more. So actually going down into that darkness brought that light forward a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was interesting to see how easy it was to kind of just follow that algorithm and get into that.
And the thing is, like, once you start following that, oh shit, I think that camera died. Hold on a sec. Once you start, 1 second.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that camera died.
Which one?
That one there. But this one's good. This is the one that has the audio on it.
Okay.
So.
But how do we take a break and try to fix it?
Nah. I think it's my fault. I think we should just wrap it up then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. But yeah. What a abrupt ending.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can phase it out a little bit though.
Yeah. I know this one is gonna go soon though, and this one has the audio.
Yeah, now the audio's gone.
Yeah, it's still there. We have the audio here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but for not for long.
Oh, there's back. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't know what I was gonna say. Something about even though you start going down these dark rabbit holes with things, you look at shit, and a lot of it's true.
Yes, that's
the fucked up thing.
That's the fucked up thing, bro.
That's the fucked up thing. You know, a lot of this shit is fucking true. Like when you start looking at politicians and the deals that they're making so that corporations can get, so that's the thing. Like the world can look pretty fucked up because certain aspects of the world are really fucked up. But if you just focus on the fucked up things,
that's it, right?
Instead of looking at like, yeah, it's fucked up, but hey, check out this sunset, or my mum loves me, or it's,
right.
That's the thing. You got to put your spotlight onto things that are equally as positive as well, and don't just constantly stare into the darkest realms of what's happening in reality.
Exactly. If you only watch the news, then you'll get really unhappy.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things to see in the world, and like the sunset,
or
the love that you feel for someone, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And the conspiracy theories, like that. I don't really like the conspiracy theorist stamp on people, because it's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, so then you're crazy, and everything you're talking about is bullshit. Whereas the conspiracies are real. It's not like conspiracies are not happening.
Yeah.
People are conspiring, but a lot of it is bullshit as well. But the main, take from this is that if you keep focusing on only the negative shit like that, then these thoughts will be with you throughout your life and your days and affect you all the time. And then you'll get really unhappy, and you won't be able to discern between what is real or not, and because your mind can make you feel like anything is real. Right? Yeah. So that's training the mind is important, and also noticing what you're feeding your consciousness. Your diet is not only your food; it is also how you treat your body in different ways, and how you treat your mind, and what you feed into, what you plug into it. Yeah.
Dude, what a beautiful way to end.
Now that was a better ending, right?
Much better.
Yeah.
Mats, thanks for the fucking convo, bro.
Thank you too. It was a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
I had a really, really good talk, man.
Me too.
I'm glad I ran into you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. All right.
All right, man.
Take care.
See you on the yoga mat then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah.